Good morning and welcome to Unity in Lynnwood. I'm so glad you're here, whether in the sanctuary or online. This is our time of silent meditation. So I'd invite you to have your feet on the floor, sitting in a comfortable position, your hands open. Just keep finding what feels good. Don't overcomplicate things right now. You should be anticipating good news, good health, and good results. Your efforts taste so much better when they come from a space of clarity and bliss. That is your only responsibility right now. So breathe that in. Breathe in that possibility of peace and hope and clarity as we go into the silence. And gently, gently bring yourself back to this present moment. Take some deep breaths. In and out. We are grateful for this remembering. We are grateful for this silence. We are grateful to Cameron, Michelle, Jerry, Dr. Richard, Matthew, Nina, Michelle, Barbara Thorpe, Ken, the prayer chaplain group. We are grateful for this community and this holiday weekend. We celebrate, we acknowledge our own freedom in remembering who we are, and so it is.
I spent my whole life searching for a shelter for my soul, an understanding of the greater plan. In these walls I've seen the light of love pure and divine, helps me remember who I really am. In every face it's clear, we're all God's children here, and it feels like home, it feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home, it feels like home, a family that I can call my own. It feels like home. It's a place to share your burden. It's safe to shed a tear, say a prayer and raise your voice in song, where every heart is honored and every path is true. No one's here to judge you right or wrong, and there's no shame, no sin in this place where love begins. And it feels like home, it feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home, it feels like home, a family that I can call my own. It feels like home.
Let's take a breath together. And if you're comfortable doing so, close your eyes and let's join in a time of reflection. Today, I recognize my freedom in spirit. I know I live in a world of infinite possibilities. Even now, a creative stream of life energy flows through me. This same life energy creates universes. It holds our planet in perfect alignment with our sun, our stars, our moon, and other planets spinning in our galaxy. This same life energy flows through my being and through my body. I am one with the one life energy and unified with all life. As such, I am alive and aligned with the miraculous. Today, on this Independence Day weekend, I recognize my freedom in this spirit and flow of life. I am free to choose to create a life in line with my highest ideals. Today, I choose to release my internal litigation of the past. And instead, I nurture and I grow my emerging vision for a life filled with harmony, with love, with peace, for today and all our days ahead. And so it is.
It feels like home. It feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home. It feels like home. A family that I can call my own. It feels like home. would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. There is hurting in my family, and there is sorrow in my town. There is panic all across the nation, and there is wailing the whole world round. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. May the children see more clearly, and may the elders be more wise. May the winds of change caress us, even though it burns our eyes. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. Give me a mighty yoke to hold my confusion. Give me a desert to hold my fears. Give me a sunset to hold my wonder. Give me an ocean to hold my tears. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, hello and welcome to Unity in Lynnwood. I hope you know how glad we are that you are here today. My name is Callee, and I'm a longtime member of this community, and I want you to know that your presence here is important. My bet is that you will find yourself to be supported and encouraged by what you experience here. And I also bet that you will be inspired and uplifted by the music and the message that you find here. That said, I want you to know that you and your unique brand of you-ness is a valuable gift of support and encouragement to others in this community. We are uplifted by your music, metaphorical or otherwise. We are strengthened by your message. You are welcome to this beloved community of oneness and possibility. This is a community of open sharing, of genuine and authentic caring, a gathering together in support of one another and a grander possibility emerging through each and every one of us and through this collective of beautiful souls. If you have, or if you have had, any doubt about it, we want you to know that you are welcome in this place. Yes, you and your unique brand of you-ness. We know you to be a unique expression of life itself, brimming with ideas, hopes, talents, and contributions. We invite you with open hearts and open arms to feel very much at home in this place. And so with that, let's say hello to Dr. Richard this morning. Hello, friend.
Hi, Ken Yuri.
Yeah.
I celebrate your you-ness. For those who were here Friday night, for those who were not here Friday night, join me in thanking Ken Yuri and thanking Matthew Wilson, thanking Steve Mason, thanking Nathan Long for a really fun event. Turn to someone next to you and say, I celebrate your you-ness this morning, please. I celebrate your you-ness. I celebrate your you-ness. Thank you for that new word. Oh my goodness. It reads as follows. Unity in Lynnwood was the recipient of one of the first 2 LEAP awards for their Soul Greens Cafe. This was a competitive award. The concept harkens back to the foundational days of Unity with its delicious vegetarian fare. The cafe is just one jewel in the UIL Interfaith Crown. We have an Interfaith Crown. Did you know that? You may celebrate being known as those who have an Interfaith Crown. Whew, the cafe is just one jewel in the UIL Interfaith Crown of connection and belonging, accommodating services for the Muslim and Hindu communities, their Dinner with Others program, and their Artists Hallway. The Soul Greens Cafe speaks to UIL's commitment to nourish and connect. We celebrate this innovative ministry. Big applause. It closes to all. That's you. To all at Unity in Lynnwood. How's that for an article? Big applause to you. Dinner with Others. Logistically, it's a free vegetarian dinner. It is scheduled for Friday, July 15th, 6:30 p.m. Thematically or programmatically, it is part of our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. It is dedicated to deeper conversations about matters of skin tone, ethnic identity. Registration is open. Simply visit the calendar page at unityinlynnwood.org. Navigate to July 15th, click on the event, and enter your information. If you would like assistance with that process, I would like to affirm again, we are delighted to help you. Call or click. It would be our selfish pleasure to hear your voice on the telephone. Please, if you would like to pray with someone following the conclusion of this time together, UIL has trained prayer chaplains under the inspired leadership of Barbara Thorpe, one of Unity in Lynnwood's licensed Unity teachers. I would ask those trained prayer chaplains in service to you this morning to stand that you might be able to identify them. Simply seek one of these noble souls following the conclusion of our time together. And if you are a member of our online community today and you desire to pray with someone, please start the process by writing prayer at unityinlynnwood.org. Include a working telephone number and expect a call from an anonymous number around 1215 or so. Practical spirituality, welcoming community. 4 words, tremendous depth. Tremendous depth. Today I offer the 5th of the 6 supporting statements that were developed starting in late 2014. Take a deep breath. Does this belong to you? It reads as follows: we actively seek and enthusiastically include truths from all great spiritual traditions. Oh, I like that. I like that. Words of invocation. You're welcome to speak them with me, whether quietly or enthusiastically. You're welcome to simply allow the words to have their way with you. They read, though imaged and named variously, there is a singular and eternal ground of being from which all life emanates and into which all life retreats. We choose to call this ground of being God. By extension, we come to understand that we are spiritual in nature, human in expression, and limitless in potential. We gather today to remember such truths, to celebrate our unity, and to honor all life. And so it is. We choose to call this ground of being God. Over the past couple of weeks, I've encouraged you to choose synonyms for God, to choose synonyms for prayer. God doesn't care what name you use. Byron approached me last Sunday. I have secured his permission to share his synonym with you. Acme is how he remembers that synonym, and it is
A Greek word meaning the pinnacle, the peak, the top, perfection.
but the ACME,
The authentic center of meaningful
the authentic center of meaningful
existence.
existence is his name for God. How do you like that? Acme, a Greek word representing a pinnacle idea. I have to tell you, I won't pretend to speak for you today, but I can speak for myself in saying that without a periodic review of history, those events detailed in my 7th grade American history class, and Mr. Engel was a most excellent teacher, by the way. Those events detailed in my 7th grade American history class tend to morph, and they tend to commingle and blend with the passing of the years. In other words, while I won't pretend to speak for you, I can speak for myself in saying that without a periodic review of history, I fear I will one day be left with an Independence Day commemorating George Washington's ride to Plymouth Rock on a donkey to deliver the Christ child or something. Like that. So here's how it went down. Take a deep breath. It was in August of 1775 that a royal proclamation declared that the American subjects were, and I quote, engaged in open and avowed rebellion, end quote. It was in May that the Virginia Convention ordered, and I quote, that the delegates appointed to represent this colony in General Congress be instructed to propose to that respectable body to declare the United Colonies free and independent states, close quote. And so it was that Virginia's Richard Henry Lee fulfilled that charge with his resolution beginning resolved that these united colonies are, and by right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, that measures should be immediately taken for procuring the assistance of foreign powers, and a confederation be formed to bind the colonies more closely together. And then it was in June that Congress appointed the famous Committee of Five to draft a case for independence. This Committee of Five consisted of two from New England, John Adams of Mass, Roger Sherman of Connecticut, two from the middle colonies. It was Benjamin Franklin of PA and Robert Livingston of New York, and one from the South, of course, Thomas Jefferson of Virginia. Now, according to Jefferson, the other members of the committee, and I quote, unanimously pressed upon myself alone to undertake the draft. Now, for those of you who have done any committee work, you realize that's entirely possible. The other members of the committee unanimously pressed on myself alone to undertake the draft. He goes on to say, before I reported it to the committee, I communicated it to Dr. Franklin and Mr. Adams, requesting their corrections. I then wrote a fair copy, reported it to the committee, and from them, unaltered to Congress. It was on July 1st of 1776 that Congress reconvened. It was on July 2nd that Lee's resolution for independence was adopted. And it was through July 3rd that revision of the Committee of Five's document continued. And it was on July 4th that those church bells at long last rang over Philadelphia, signifying the adoption of what remained largely Thomas Jefferson's Declaration of Independence. And that is what we commemorate on this weekend. The adoption of what remained largely Thomas Jefferson's Declaration of Independence. Now, it was on July 5th that copies were distributed to assemblies, to conventions, to communities, to commanders. Of the original 200 or so, there are about 26 known copies of this Dunlap broadside, Dunlap being the official printer of the Congress, 21 that are owned by American institutions, 2 by British institutions, and 3 by private parties. It was in 1989 that a man purchased a copy at a flea market because he thought the frame was pretty. It was shortly thereafter that he sold it for over $8 million. Now, it was on July 19th that Congress ordered that this declaration be fairly engrossed on parchment with the title, the Unanimous Declaration of the 13 United States of America. It was on August 2nd that the Journal of the Continental Congress records that the Declaration of Independence beginning when, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. Signed by lawyers and planters, merchants and shippers, each signing in keeping with the geography of his colony. Did you know that? Have you ever noticed that? And it was on August 2nd that the Journal of the Continental Congress records that the Declaration of Independence continuing, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, was signed by men aged 26 to 70 years in age, men totaling 56 in number, men roughly half of whom were slave owners. So to say it more concisely, it was in August of 1775 that the king declared American subjects to be engaged in open and avowed rebellion, and it was in August of 1776 that the American subjects declared the king to be absolutely correct. Now, what lesser teachers than my Mr. Ingle often allow us to miss is that Jefferson's first draft of the Declaration included a stern rebuke of slavery, with phrases such as war against nature itself and violating sacred rights of life and liberty in the persons of a distant people. And in addressing why his stern rebuke didn't make the final cut, Jefferson, who had twice before attempted to throw a wrench in the proverbial machine, answered by saying that the idea that we had friends in England worth keeping still haunted the minds of many. For this reason, those passages were struck lest they should give offense. In other words, Jefferson's stern rebuke of slavery was struck for fear it might offend. And he continued by saying the clause reprobating enslaving inhabitants of Africa was struck in compliance to South Carolina and Georgia, who wished to continue. In other words, Jefferson's stern rebuke of slavery was struck for fear it might inconvenience. And what lesser teachers than my Mr. Ingle often allow us to miss is that, of course, Thomas Jefferson, the all men are created equal Thomas Jefferson, enslaved some 600 souls over his lifetime, selling humans to other humans from his very deathbed, that he, in the end of a desperate and destitute and dying man, might be able to pay his final bills. Now, why do I tell you this? I offer you Mr. Ingle's 7th grade history, not that we might demonize or diminish or discard those who came before. Were we to discard every great work performed by everyday Joes with quirks and challenges and issues, our history books would be thin indeed. We certainly wouldn't have as much great music. We certainly wouldn't have as much great poetry. We certainly wouldn't have as much beautiful art. And God knows we wouldn't have as many inspired leaders. As I've said so many times before, history's great works aren't the stuff of those who are perfect. History's great works are the stuff of those who are willing. And maybe this is the message someone dropped in or tuned in to get today. If you think you have to achieve some standard of perfection or readiness or holiness before you can give the world the full experience of you, my friend, are wasting time. You're wasting time. I truly believe that our founding fathers did the best they could do, knowing what they knew, living when, where, and how they lived. So I offer you Mr. Ingalls' 7th grade history lesson that we might stop worshiping mythologized characters and start furthering important ideas. And that is what Independence Day is. It's the celebration of a people who furthered an important idea, the idea of life's inherent equality and freedom and right to be. It's an idea that didn't begin in 1775. Our Jewish brothers and sisters would recognize this idea in that defining narrative myth as set forth in Exodus. The Israelites had long been enslaved by the Egyptians when the great prophet Moses was described as having a revelation so profound that it could be described only in the language of light. Moses was described as having a revelation that he was to free the Israelites, and as we humans tend to do, he responded by questioning that revelation. Imagine Moses standing before a literal burning bush, which I don't believe it was, but imagine Moses standing before a literal burning bush saying, who? Me? Me? I mean, much like Jefferson, who would come many years later, I'm not exactly a perfect person. Ultimately, the narrative described Moses as asking under what authority he would free the Israelites, at which point the Judeo-Christian collection sets forth the first name for God as I am that I am. In other words, the revelation of Moses was that I amness, or that isness, that beingness, that life itself was ample authority for the revelation of life's inherent equality and freedom and right to be. And our Christian brothers and sisters would recognize this idea in the life of Jesus himself, born at the bottom rung of societal influence and power to an unwed teenage mother, raised under Roman occupation and executed for sedition against empire, only to be recorded as resurrecting, as another declaration of life's inherent equality and freedom and right to be. And it's an idea that didn't end in 1776 either. It's an idea that your parents would recognize in the courageous souls who dismantled apartheid. It's an idea that your grandparents would recognize in the courageous souls who led the civil rights movement. It's an idea that your great-grandparents would recognize in the courageous souls who launched the women's suffrage cause. And it's an idea that we recognize today in the courageous souls who represent the rights of animals and the rights of forests and the rights of oceans. It's an idea that we recognize today in the courageous souls who pursue vehicles for racial healing. It's an idea that we recognize today in the courageous souls who set standards for gender equality. It's an idea that we recognize today in the courageous souls who seek systems of economic justice. It's an idea that we recognize today in the Malalas and Gretas, the Yaras and the Sierras. It's an idea that we recognize today in the courageous souls who join me in this very room, whether that room is physical or virtual. We recognize the idea of life's inherent equality in you, with your every choice to welcome, to be welcomed, with your every choice to reach beyond the bounds of personal comfort for connection, with your every choice to practice curiosity and vulnerability, with your every choice to claim your worth. We recognize the idea of freedom in you, with your every choice to lift self beyond the stale beliefs and ancient practices which no longer serve the emerging you, with your every choice to untie self from yesterday's so-called failures and from society's cynicism, with your every choice to lift self into higher realms than those driven by popularity, probability, people-pleasing, personal pleasure. And we recognize the idea of the inherent right to be in you, with your every choice to refute abuse in any and every form, whether inflicted upon self or another, with your every choice to speak truth, to declare justice, with your every choice to see the divine in the life which resides to your left this morning, in your every choice to see the divine in the life that resides to your right this morning, in your every choice to see the divine in the life that sits before you and the life that sits behind you. I offer you Mr. Ingalls' 7th grade history lesson, that we might stop worshiping mythologized characters and start furthering important ideas. You see, that is the difference between history and spirituality. History is the study of those souls who grasp ideas. Spirituality is the study of those ideas that grasp souls. And as Thomas Jefferson once stood upon the shoulders of those who went before to further this idea as best as he could, and as Mandela and King and Anthony stood upon the shoulders of those who went before to further this idea as best they could, so this divine idea has been entrusted to us, has in a sense been entrusted to you to further as best as we can. So yes, happy birthday to an entity we call the United States of America. Absolutely. But happy anniversary to the dynamic idea that stands behind it as well. It is the idea of life's inherent equality, freedom, and right to be. To that divine idea, we simply say, happy anniversary. Take a deep breath with me. Let's close with a few minutes of deeper consideration, a few minutes of reflection. Some might call it meditation. 4, 5 minutes. Let's begin with a deep breath. Allow the very physicality of you just to soften. What a gift that is. What a gift that is. Allow the very physicality of you to soften. Allow the fingers to uncurl, the temples to rest, the jaw to relax. Today, we celebrate the anniversary of a divine idea. This idea encourages us to awaken to the inherent equality of life. Life in any form, life in every manifestation, the inherent equality of life.
My native country thee, land of the noble free, thy name I love. I love thy rocks and rills, thy woods and templed hills. My heart with rapture fills, my soul doth rest.
Today we say happy anniversary to a divine idea that says our nature is freedom. We awaken to a divine idea that says there is one life behind all life. And that life behind all life, it's limitless. It's beyond the reaches of space and time. So yet again, we say happy anniversary to an idea of equality within the family of life. And to acknowledgement for its profound potential.
Let music swell the breeze and ring from all the trees sweet freedom song. Let mortal tongues awake, let all that breathe partake, let rocks their silence break, the sound prolong.
So we gather today to say happy anniversary to a divine idea. A divine idea that says indeed there is one isness, one beingness, there is one life behind all expressed form, that one life is limitless in potential, that indeed you are so much more than you appear to be. And as expressions of that one life, as expressions of that one isness, this one unlimited mind, this one initial impetus, we see each other anew. Suddenly, we become able to peer into the eyes of life itself in whatever form it might be. And say, I honor the you-ness of you. I honor the you-ness of you. So yes, we say happy anniversary. Happy anniversary to a divine idea that affirms our inherent equality, our innate freedom, and an undeniable right to be.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring.
And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. And amen.
Thank you, Dr. Richard. Thank you, Matthew. One essential aspect of being a part of a healthy and growing community that benefits each and every one of us is the chance we have to give in support of a greater good. It's been said that many hands make light work. And so it is today that we are immensely grateful for your open and generous hands and hearts as you make financial contributions to sustain and support this community that's here for you. Thank you for your gifts.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen.
Well, I have a few announcements about things happening here in our community, but before I get to those, I want to recognize anyone who might be here joining us for the first time. And if you just put your hand in the air, we'll give you some applause. Anyone here for the first time? Anyone here in our community? I sense there's a hand going up online. So for you, we're going to do this. So if you are new or newer, I want to orient you to our welcome and information station in the back of the sanctuary, where you can find some materials about things happening in our community and get oriented to things happening here. In the seat back in front of you, you will find some cards and information that may be helpful for you. And if you are new, you are free to come to our Soul Things gift shop just outside these double doors and to the left, and pick up a free copy, a complimentary copy of the Daily Word. This is a Unity publication filled with daily inspirations, and I'm just going to take a moment to give you an example of the kind of inspiration that you'll find here. You can get your complimentary copy if you are new, and you can also purchase a subscription to this so you can have a daily inspiration. Day 1 gives an example here of peace is my breath and serenity is the beat of my heart. There is a basic rhythm in my body that resonates from a divine awareness that pulsates through all living beings. This pattern is found in the measure of my breath and the cadence of my heartbeat. By quieting my mind and focusing on the natural pulse of my body, I create vital breathing space, both literally and figuratively. When I practice gently focusing on inhaling and exhaling, my body and mind instinctively relax. My pulse slows and steadies. By noticing my body's rhythms, I relax into a deep state of peace. Throughout my entire being, I feel a sense of harmony, belonging, and comfort. As I continue to breathe, I am aware that Almighty Spirit is breathing through me and as me. Now that is a great start to any day, so come get a copy of that. Some things happening here. Please register for all events by visiting the calendar page at unityinlynnwood.org. And today we are hosting a newcomers luncheon at 12:30 here in the sanctuary. If you are new to Unity in Lynnwood, even over the past couple years, please enjoy a casual lunch following service. Meet your leaders, connect with others, discover what this community has available for you. UIL's social group invites you to gather on July 23rd at 10 a.m. for a jaunt to Snoqualmie Falls. That should be beautiful. Enjoy lunch along the way. Please register. Shuttle transportation is available on a first-come basis. And on Sunday, July 24th at 12:30, the YOU, the Youth of Unity Roundtable, has an open discussion topic for all of us. Welcome on technology. Is your phone a mystery? Do you really understand how your email account works? And what about social media? Why can't you share that thing? And what can you do about the person who's hassling you? If these are among your questions, bring your device and allow UIL's teens to assist you. Please note that higher level computer technology issues cannot be addressed, and a professional may be recommended. However, it's amazing how much can be fixed by turning it off and on again, and by asking a teenager. There you go.
My goodness. Do not ask them to log on to your banking information either. Please. We are having coffee hour today. If you would prefer to go through the double doors, through the next double doors, Michelle and her amazing teams of welcome and support. Yes, absolutely, you may applaud. Are eager to serve you. If you are among the leaders who have registered for today's luncheon, you're welcome to stay in this room. If you are new or newer to Unity in Lynnwood, you are welcome to make a choice. A cup of coffee or Matthew Wilson's egg salad croissant sandwiches. That's your choice. That's your choice. The agenda is informal. We meet each other. We understand each other a little better. Maybe maybe we make a friend. I don't know. If that speaks to you, please feel free to stay. Understand we'll be rolling in some tables and otherwise doing some rather cumbersome logistics under your purview. Give us a few minutes, please. I'm so happy to see you. It is an honor to do what I do in your noble company. Happy Independence Day weekend, Unity in Lynnwood. Happy Independence Day weekend. Go forth as the hands and feet of equality, as the hands and feet of life's right to be. Let's do that. Close your eyes with me, won't you? And take a deep breath. And as a closing exercise of sorts, let's conjure an image. An image of that which represents life's right to be. Said another way, it might be an image of someone you love deeply. Conjure an image of that which fills your heart, that which brings a smile to your lips, that which you cherish beyond limits, without bounds. And just hold that image there for a second. Another second, another second. Allowing that image to have its way with you. And then as we consider reopening these human eyes of ours, let us not abandon the feeling nature of a consciousness that perceives the sacredness of life. But let's bring it forth. Let's practice sharing that consciousness with each other. And even more courageously with our greater world. Or as a great teacher once said, I honor the you-ness of you. And we close our time together, as we always do, with sung words of blessing, sung words of farewell.
May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within